So here I have the defense drawn up. And base, again, I just wanted to show you how that would look with the tight end to the boundary. And another way you can play this, if you want to, if you're Todd Orlando, is you can keep the rover if the tight end's to the boundary in C gap and put the B gap backer in D gap. And there you go. There's your run responsibilities. It doesn't really matter how you want to play this part of it to the boundary, but to the field, this nickel is going to have to be the force player. You don't want that nickel back to be a C-gap player. So here's one thing Texas can also do against the run. They can bring some line stunts. This will confuse the offensive line, make it more difficult to block their players. He did this a lot in Houston. He hasn't done it so much at Texas. But right here, this is just a BB stunt. It's the B backer going to the B gap. Boom, right there. Now your rover has C gap, still A gap, B gap, C gap, force, and the Mike linebacker has A gap. In this look, when he runs inside here, if nobody blocks him, he is actually going to take running back. So if the quarterback doesn't need zone read, the rover is going to have quarterback, and the nickel will have quarterback here. You still have to sit back in the secondary against any run looks to make sure that there's no RPOs. Cover those with your safeties and corners using your blue techniques, just like we've talked about. This is another stunt. I call this a Y stunt. The reason why is because in my defense, this end right here, this 3 technique is called a tackle or a T. So it's a TE stunt. TE is often called the Y. So it's a Y stunt. The end is just going to come across the tackle's face. This other end or the tackle will come across into A gap. And that's going to confuse the blocking schemes for really these 3 guys. Make it very difficult to block these 2. It's also going to create a wall here, in a sense, to where your Mike linebacker can get outside and play the run more effectively. Your nose is going to still collision the center here and try and block that off. And you've got a force player here, B-gap player, flows to the field. He can play over the top, force here. So that's a good little line stunt to take away the running game. It also can be effective as a pass rush, but I'll show you how you combine this with some other stunts to get even more pass